YouTube? Got a yo-yo review to do today. This is the prototype of the MachinaTion by YoyoEMPIRE. So the MachinaTion is a collaboration between ToyBania and Amun from Polytwist Design. Amun tweaked the design and did all the CAD work for this, and ToyBania basically came up with the idea, went through with YoyoEMPIRE and everything to get this run made. And this is one of the prototypes of the MachinaTion. Now, the MachinaTion is basically the metal version. This is aluminum and this is titanium. The metal version, this is 7075 aluminum, actually. Now, this is the metal version of the original H-shaped TiNG. As you can see, they very much share a very similar profile. But this one has been tweaked for metal. Clearly, see, rings are sort of a different size and everything. I have to say, out of all of the TiNGs, this is the best one of the family. I think Amun did an amazing job designing it. It's very stable, very light. It's almost floaty. I hate to use the word floaty, but it's almost floaty on the string, and it just plays awesome. Very smooth. Exactly what you would expect from a YoyoEMPIRE. If you've played the TiNG, you kind of know how this plays, but think of it as like the TiNG plays good, but this is better, basically, is what I'm getting at. Very, very cool. Just a nice overall, very different feeling. The titanium, because titanium is lighter than stainless steel, but heavier than aluminum, it really sort of gives a different feel to this. Like, it doesn't really play like a bimetal, although it is a bimetal, but it doesn't play like a bimetal with stainless steel rings. It plays like a bimetal with titanium rings, which sort of adds kind of a lighter floatiness to it. Not as much weight to the rims, but still a little bit of extra weight to the rims to kind of give it that stability and power. But it's not quite as stable in power, so you get so you get a little bit of floatiness as well, which is just very cool overall. I really kind of just right off the bat, well, right when I first threw it, I was like, oh, this is different and better. Not different per se, because it shares a lot of similarities with the original H-shaped TiNG, but it's better. Like, it's, I don't know. Metal's just better. I'm sorry. Sorry, plastic hybrid lovers. Metal just is better. Although hybrid plastic's cool. Metal is just better. But let's look at some of the little design changes we got here. So in the cup is probably the biggest one. So the original TiNG had this hub for finger spins, because if you have to put a plastic yo-yo together, why not put a finger spin hub in there? So that was eliminated for the MachinaTion. There's just a little cup, basically. It's flat in there. You can get finger spins on that. There's nothing to stop you, but it's not really, like, you're not going to lock it in and get super long finger spins like you will with the plastic TiNG. And I'm perfectly good with that, actually. I kind of prefer that. I feel like had they sort of forced a finger spin cup in there, that it would have taken away from the overall design and the overall performance of the yo-yo. And I think, like I said, this is probably my favorite one so far in the lineup of TiNGs, the MachinaTion. But it's probably enough about me talking about it. Let's go ahead and throw it around a little bit. I don't have the specs for this yet. We're going to wait, because this is still just a prototype. I don't know if the specs will change a hair between now and the final version. So once the final version comes out, if I get the chance to try one of those, we'll do the specs at that point. But I don't have the specs for the prototype because it's not finalized yet. But let's go ahead and throw it around a little bit. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, guys, we are back with the YoyoEMPIRE MachinaTion. So this thing really is cool. Lots of really cool design elements went into this. It's just a really good yo-yo. Very smooth and very stable, spins a good long time, kind of floaty, which is kind of weird for a bimetal design, but it's not stainless steel, so that's why. The spin times aren't as long as as a standard bimetal would be. That's not to say they're short by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not sort of infinite like some competition-driven bimetals are. And that is probably because titanium is a little bit lighter than stainless steel, so there is less weight in the rims overall, but it does provide a very cool sort of extra float that you don't get with other bimetals. And that's not to say that it's not a great performer, because it is. Yeah, and it absolutely spins a long time. I would say that it's probably average or slightly above average spin times, but it's not that like bimetal infinite spin time. You know what I mean? As far as smoothness is concerned, I mean, dead smooth on the grinds, very nice sort of matted finish, and the matted finish is rather just, you know, it's not like super matted or powdery or anything. It's almost shiny, but not. But it's still nice for grinds. The titanium rings are brushed, so they don't really stick to your skin. It's a little bit, it's getting muggy. Let's see if I can show you here. Like, it still rolls nice across your skin because they're the titanium rings are brushed, which is great. Dead smooth. I've taken this apart a few times, and you know, it's by material, but I mean, no vibe at all. The only sound you hear is the bearing, and it's even just a nice smooth whoosh. So I mean, overall quality, just a very nice design overall, head to toe, the whole thing. Finger spins, totally doable. You just gotta kind of catch it a little bit on an angle. It's not like a lock-in finger spin type yo-yo, but it is absolutely capable of finger spins. Very stable, very long spinning, not hard to keep it on plane at all. And I think the price on this is going to be pretty good too. I think the price they're looking at is about $120, which is for a metal yo-yo with titanium rings. Great price point. Great price point. So, I mean, overall, this is a really fun yo-yo. It's really good. It's kind of good for everything. It's a little fast. It's stable. I would say it's sort of comparable a little bit, at least in weight, to a drop near. And it kind of moves like that, but it's a little more controllable. But it can kind of go fast, and if you want it to go fast, it has no problem getting pushed a little bit, which I like a lot. The only thing, and I think this is changing with the final one, is they just use the standard YoYoEMPIRE response, those white pads, which I'll show you guys when we take it apart. But those pads aren't my favorite, and they're not as grippy as I would like otherwise, but they do okay. But I think there will be better response pads. I talked to Amun about it. There will be better response pads in the final version. But let's go ahead and throw this thing back on the desk. We'll take it apart, and we'll do pros and cons. All right, guys, we are back on the desk with the YoYoEMPIRE MachinaTion. Now, this will be available through ToyBania, probably exclusively. Probably the coolest thing, in my opinion, and ToyBania has done a lot of cool things. The coolest thing ToyBania has done to date, and ToyBania does cool stuff all the time. So, very cool. You're going to want to keep an eye out for this for sure. So, as you can see, like I was saying, those white YoYoEMPIRE pads, those are probably going to go. I think they're trying to use the one-drop ones. I'm not entirely sure, but there will be different and better pads. Amun agrees with me. These aren't his favorite pads. He actually prefers the snow tires. That's what he ends up designing his stuff with. But going to be better pads on this once the final run is done. But as you can see, pretty similar design to the TiNG overall, just kind of that little step up H, but it's all very rounded over, very comfortable in the hand. Comes with a concave bearing. I don't know if the concave bearing is going to be what's in the final version, but that's just what most YoYoEMPIREs come with, it's like a 10-ball concave bearing. It's basically the standard concave bearing that you get from everywhere else. Machine great, goes together great, comes apart. I mean, this is like precision, nice machining. This is great machining. Very smooth yo-yo overall. As you can see, rings are brushed. Focus. There we go. Rings are brushed. Nice matting everywhere around. It's all very smooth and very nice grind surface. You know, pretty much everything you could want. I think the final price is going to be $120, which is for a bimetal that is both 70-75 aluminum and titanium. I mean, that's a great price for it. You know, you get regular bimetals for that. So good price point. Totally holds up to everything in that $120 price range. Easily as good as or better than a lot of things in that price range. So very, very cool yo-yo. I think they did a great job designing it. I think both Vivek and Amun did a great job working together. Good teamwork out of those guys. I'm excited to see what they've got coming from here on out, because they do a great job, and they're cool guys. They're nice guys to deal with. So definitely check out ToyBania. I will put some links down in the description of this video, but you can see what they've got there, including some of the other TiNGs, but this one is forthcoming, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that. Let's do pros and cons. So pros, different. Just different. The titanium rings just give it a whole different feeling. If you're somebody who has a ton of yo-yos, and you're like, well, I don't need more of the same. I mean, you might even have yo-yos that are sort of this shape. This just feels different. Different materials and sort of different cup design really just kind of make this a different feeling, different playing yo-yo than even yo-yos of this shape. A lot of times yo-yos of this shape feel very H. They feel very rim-weighted. They feel very powerful. This kind of almost has a floaty feel to it, which is great. It's a nice floaty feel. Kind of holds up and kind of hangs with other titanium yo-yos. Kind of has that sort of a vibe to it. And I think that's really cool, especially out of only $120 bimetal. Great bearing, comes with a nice bearing. The concave bearings aren't my favorite shape of bearing, but the one that it comes with is perfectly good. Very nice. No complaints there. It spins good. I like that the attention to detail was put in to brush the rings as well as put in a nice grind finish. I'm a stickler for those kinds of things, and they did a great job here. No qualms whatsoever. Cup, while not TiNG level finger spins, very doable, and I like the cup design. Personally, I prefer it this way. I think it's great. If you wanted a super duper long finger spin cup, maybe go with one of the other TiNGs, but this one I think this was the right choice, and I think they went the right direction with that. As far as cons are concerned, I can't really think of too many. Because it is a bimetal, you may think it would spin just a little longer than it actually does, but because the titanium is not as heavy as stainless steel, it doesn't, but I think that kind of adds to the overall feel and play of it. It's sort of a cross between a really fun floaty yo-yo, but also a really stable long spinning performance yo-yo. So, it's a fun yo-yo to throw, and if you wanted to compete with it, you could do that as well. It just may not be as long spinning as some other competition-driven bimetals might be. So it's not really a con per se. It's just sort of a thing I noticed when going sort of back and forth. I was playing with my Too Sick Knight, and then I picked this up, and the sort of spin time, I was sort of shocked, because the Knight kind of spins forever, and this sort of spins just slightly less than forever. So, not shocked, but there was the distinct difference was there, and I noticed it in play. But that's really it. It's not even a con. It's just sort of a this is how it plays kind of a deal. But very great design, very cool yo-yo. I think it's a great addition to the TiNG lineup, and best one so far, easily. So YoyoEMPIRE, MachinaTion, keep an eye out for it on ToyBania. I'm sure Vivek will post it everywhere and tell everybody when they're ready to go, because it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be one to look out for. That's going to do it for me today, though, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I do videos every single day. It's insanity. But thanks, guys. Cheers to you. I'll see you next time.